everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Late Night Brew, where we talk the brews first and then we get around what we're supposed to after. Joining me for the fourth episode of this wonderful series again is Brian. Welcome back, buddy.
Hello again.
Now, before we get into the meat of it, you know what the deal is. What brew are you having me with this morning?
All right. This morning, I'm having a Blue Moon, which is a beautiful wheat beer that we just recently been able to get here in Australia. So once I saw it on the menu, I was grabbing it.
Understandable. I've got myself a salted lime lager from one of my favorite local breweries, Santan. So it's that lovely light drinking as it heats up. You know, we're getting entering in summer, so it's nice, easy drinking and flavorful. In in this episode, I should say, we're going to be diving into what do we get out of working with all this data. Now, last episode, I should say, we talked about all of the ingredients and the work that goes into prepping a good meal as the analogy. Now, what does that finished meal look like? Or bringing it back into what we're supposed to be talking about, not being hungry, what does good business intelligence, good BI look like?
Yes. I think this is a great way of bringing in when we talk about a meal and we talk about that ingredients. You can have all those things, but when I think about good BI, me personally coming from a business background, it's really about BI that aligns to the business strategy. It's about defining the why.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to have a report, you're going to have BI. What's the purpose? What's the business case that you're going to have come out of it? And so if you think about something like an agile methodology, they have a great concept of user stories. And user stories is this idea that you think about when you're developing something. If you're a finance or sales manager, you want a report that's going to help you drive sales. It's not just about numbers, and it's not just about insight. It's about how is this going to lead to more sales and more profitability. And so when you think about building reports, that's really what you want to do. You want to bring all those good ingredients together, but in a way that's going to answer the why or give you more. So I've been fortunate enough in my BI career. I've worked with a lot of different organizations, from pharmaceutical and working with scientists to help cure cancer, all the way to being on the front line with cybersecurity teams, trying to protect the company's data and people's personal data. The one story I think is really good because they have a purpose that I always love to tell is working with a football team. Now, a football team is really a great example because it's very simple. What do they want to do? What are they trying to do as an organization? Well, they want to win. They want to win a premiership.
Play good football.
Exactly. They want to play good football, but they want to win. So I got a chance in this one to work with the sports science team. And when I asked them, what is the purpose of this report? What are you trying to do? And they're like, well, we want to win. But in order to win a premiership, we need to have our athletes in peak performance, and we need our athletes to be healthy. We need to avoid injury. And so the project was really, really quite fascinating because they have all this equipment, all of this data. And what we really were able to do is bring that together like that really nice meal and come up with BI, a report that really distilled that, but really tapped into those particular points. And so you were able to see really quickly whether an athlete was performing well, whether they were going to get injured, or you could really see it really fantastic. And the other reason why it's a great story about BI is that particular team is now the reigning premiers. So although it was a few years ago, yeah, they're on the top.
Not the humble brag or anything there, but
not to brag, but it worked. But that was a few years ago. But it just demonstrates that they came into it knowing not much about BI, but really more about what they wanted to achieve with the data. So I think my recommendation to anybody that's in the space is that when you are building those reports, it's good. You do need all those things, all the technical aspects to it. But you really, my opinion is the big thing you really need to know is the why.
Right. And that's a beautiful way to say, this is why we're going towards this outcome. Why do we want good BI, right? Good business intelligence. And also, what we talked about in a previous episode, where you can have all the data in the world, and if you're not building those relationships, you're not doing it intelligently, it's meaningless. It's noise.
Mm,
I have thousands of data points. Yeah, what does it mean though? Right?
exactly.
And yes, you have it. You can't do anything with it. So, no,
Just
that's
noise.
fantastic. And I think the point, if I heard it correctly, and correct me, is, you know, with that in mind of having that data, it's have a purpose with it. What's the outcome I'm driving towards, right? Like you said, we want to win, we want to play good. That's the outcome. We have all this data.
Yes.
What do we do with it? When we come into this type of engagement or this type of thought process, and it translates into a lot of other tech as well, or cybersecurity, right? What's the outcome? And,
What are we
and
trying to achieve?
yeah, because if you know where you're trying to go, the journey is going to make itself known. Okay, I have to take this step.
Oh, it helps so much. It's returning to that user story as you're getting, into the detail and you're trying to build these things out, whether it's BI or other things. You should always be keeping in mind what's the goal, because that will answer a lot of the questions that come up so easily. Should we have this data? Well, probably not. Is it leading to that result we're looking for? And then no, we don't need it.
You could save that, 10
You can
kilobytes of
save that.
storage. We could spare it.
That's exactly right.
All right. On that really terrible note of dating myself of 10 kilobytes being a lot, that is enough time. Brian, thank you so much again for joining us. Please reach out if you have any questions. All of the contact details below. And stay tuned for our next episode. Until then, have a great rest of your day and cheers.